Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, maybe good evening, wherever you're at, and welcome to the Geomologist Presents. Today, we're continuing our ongoing delve into the One Ring. This is the second edition of the game created by Free League, and I think there's probably an author. The lead writer is Francesco Nepatello here, the One Ring. And we are delving into the land of someone corrected me on the YouTube. Er, Eriador, is that right? How do you pronounce it, Arlen? You're the Tolkien scholar.
I have no idea.
Eriador,
That
Eriador,
sounds
Eriador.
right, but
I know it's Eriador. Anyway, we are delving into adventures in Eriador, and we're using kind of this tome, Ruins of the Lost Realm. You can see that there. And there's another book that is kind of part of this set, though I don't know if we'll use it because we've been kind of, at least initially, we're kind of exploring and following hooks that the characters have encountered in play. But we may use some of the adventures written here in Tales from the Lost Lands. Um, but we'll see. I mean, really, I think what I like about this is, in a way, it's kind of player driven. I give them the hooks, they take them or they don't. So, for example, their current situation is all the result of almost a side quest, right? It's a stopover on their way to some tasks that they have decided to complete or explore for themselves, and they had a stopover. So I'll introduce the characters, and then before we get a recap, we're going to go over a few of the rules. There wasn't confusion. I don't know if that's the right term, but there was a lot of discussion after we played as to how things work. And I think if some of us were not clear, then probably some of you were not clear. So we'll go over a little bit of, explain a little bit of the rules to eliminate that confusion, I guess, again, for lack of a better term. And then we'll get into the recap and then continue with the adventure. So I will introduce my players. So first, and I'm doing it in reverse order this time because I usually do it in order as I see you. But first we have Arlen.
hi, I'm Marlon. I am playing two characters, Orodreth, who is an elf of Rivendell, and Bruni, who is a dwarf. Um, one of the, I think, Blue Mountain exiles from Erebor, basically.
Cool. And then we have Amy.
Hello, and I am playing Gwennon, and she's a Ranger Dunadai and Myrtle Brandybuck. And if you can't tell by her name, she is a hobbit that is favored by the White Wizard. Or Gray. Sorry, he's gray at the moment.
Okay. And you see a host of other NPCs here. It's over here. I've grouped them together. Oh, and one fallen corrupted spirit. So we'll get to that in a second. But I guess, Amy, you had some questions about how things work, and I will try to go over them if we can.
Right.
What was your main?
Some of my big confusion was when you were talking about utilizing my hope points. I
Okay.
thought the way I was understanding it is to use my distinctive features, so bold, true hearted, and shadow lore, which I don't 100% understand those to begin with, but if I was using, let's say, bold and true hearted, and then I wanted the extra die for the hope, I was taking 3 hopes for that because I was understanding that I had to use a hope in order to use my distinctive features, which is why I was getting very frustrated that I was going through so much hope and it was not coming back.
Right. So that is not quite accurate. So the use of hope is a form of meta currency in this game, but just having distinctive features and even some of the equipment you have can also give you sort of a bonus. So a player has a distinctive feature, and a distinctive feature can give you a bonus d6 dice when you're rolling a task. right? So, for example, you have what bold, right?
Bold, true hearted, and shadow lore.
Yeah. So in the case of bold, so this is what it tells you, and then as a player, you can petition uh, the. I guess I don't know what the are we called GMs in this game? I don't know. Lore keeper. I don't know. Anyway, so you can petition me. Here's what bold says: you trust your capabilities to the point that you are not easily daunted, readily placing yourself in danger. So if you feel that your distinctive feature bold can be applied, then you get a bonus dice on your task. Right.
Okay, and what does true hearted mean?
So true-hearted would be you are sincere and your words and actions show your honest intentions. So I guess kind of uh, I mean, the touchstone is usually in the Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit, but definitely I would say Aragorn was true-hearted, right?
Okay.
Right in the Lord of the Rings, always sincere. I mean, his words and actions show how honest he was in more or less any interaction that he had, whether it's in in a diplomatic situation or just interacting with others.
And
And
then
then
shadow lore.
so shadow lore, that was a distinctive feature from your was that from being Dunedain or a warden?
I
You know,
believe it was a warden.
is that a warden
I think
distinctive
it
feature?
went
Yeah,
hand
that's
and it went hand in hand with my weakness being path of despair, but I know shadow lore was a distinctive feature.
yeah, the calling gives a distinctive feature and a weakness that are paired.
Okay. So shadow lore, we will tell you. You have recognized that there is a hidden thread unifying most of what is malicious, dark, and terrible in Middle Earth, and that thread is thickening year after year. A quality shared by the wise of the land, and the truth behind this knowledge is becoming clearer as time passes. So anytime you run into something that has to do with shadow, then that distinctive feature can come into play. So you kind of know about the darkness
Okay.
that most people continue with their lives and etc. So then when we get to all right, so distinctive feature by itself gives you a bonus. Additionally, however, you can invoke a distinctive feature to improve the chance of success by rolling on a skill. When this happens, you are inspired. However, when you spend a hope, you can take 2 dice instead of 1 dice if you spend a point of hope.
Okay.
Does that so normally you get 1 dice. If you spend a point of hope, you get 2 dice. Okay.
But if I use my distinctive feature, let's say, who knows? So I'm talking to the shadow spirit. So I use my shadow lore. That gets me 1 die extra. If
Yeah.
I spend a hope, that gets me 2 dice extra, but I'm only using 1 hope.
Correct. All right. And Arlen will correct me if I'm totally wrong.
Well, not today because I don't have the PDF with me, but
All right. And then the other question was, how do you regain hope?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Well, it was frustrating me because I don't understand how I was going from 11 hope and going down to, well, I mean, last game it was like 3 because I was taking too many of them away and then not getting them back because we were taking rests and I was only getting like 1. And you guys said that was wrong too. And then I thought because I was Dunedain, I couldn't get hope as quickly or something along that line. And
Right.
you
Well,
said, no, you'll get a lot back during the fellowship phase. And I was like, okay, well, when's that? And you said, well, at the end of the adventure. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense to me.
well,
you know?
hope is definitely a resource, and it is hard. It is not easy to get back, but there are ways that you can recover hope. Right. It basically represents your sense of confidence and your fight against the shadow. So you can recover hope in 3 distinct ways. This is the normal rule, and then we'll look at the Dunedain and see if there is an exception to that rule. So you can spend fellowship during the adventuring phase. So while you're adventuring, when the company is resting, player heroes may spend any number of fellowship points, so that's this resource here, to distribute as equal number of hope points among your heroes. So it's like a 1-for-1. Like you don't spend one and all the heroes get it. You spend one and one hero gets it, right? Because this is a limited resource and it comes back at some point as well. So also, when you take a break from fellowship, or sorry, from adventuring during the fellowship phase, and hopefully we'll be able to get to a fellowship phase, and we can explain that how that goes. You can recover a number of hope points equal to your heart score. So that's that's on your character sheet. So, for example, I'll open Gwendolyn's character sheet. Her heart score is a 5, so she would So she get 5 hope back. Is that correct? During a normal fellowship phase.
Well, hers is the weird one because she's
Yeah. Look,
Dude,
normally. Okay.
yeah.
All right. So we'll look at Myrtle because Myrtle, we know, doesn't have that. So Myrtle would get 6 hope back. So Myrtle,
Yep.
you should be using your hope like crazy because your hope score is pretty high. Hobbits are very hopeful. So the other way you can regain hope is player heroes who are down to 0 hope can recover a single point of hope when they take a prolonged rest. All right. So then we'll look at the Denadane as the exception.
Their thing is that they get half their hope score back instead of all of it back on a regular fellowship phase.
Okay, so that she would get. So right. So this is Allegiance of the Dunedain. So during the fellowship state, you recover a maximum number of hope equal to half your heart. So you get 3 back.
Yeah.
So we round up instead of round down.
I would round up. That seems. Yeah. They seem to use normal math rules. So
yeah. And you still get everything back on a Yule fellowship,
right.
like normal.
Right. Yule is like the winter phase, the end of the year, where everyone is back and having lots of food, multiple breakfasts and lunches and dinners. Yeah, well, but if you're in Bree, everyone uses the Hobbit culture.
I don't think he knows about second breakfast.
Yes, I'm sure Gwennon would have heard about second breakfast.
Yes, because she hangs out by Myrtle. Myrtle's
So
like second, third, fifth, 12th breakfast sometimes.
So I guess you can get hope back quicker than you thought you would in ways, and then you don't spend as much hope as you thought you did.
Yes.
Okay. What was the other question?
The stance orders.
Right. So what we're going to do is probably use the turn order bar, and then so there's 4 stances when you're having combat, and stance does not necessarily mean your placement on the battlefield. So you could use like a map, and you could place yourself wherever, but then it's your stance that determines your turn order. Player heroes go before adversaries, whether they be enemy or formerly, or just any adversary. So then there's 4 stances: forward, open, defensive, and rearward. And the order of action goes forward, open, defensives, and rearward for the player heroes, and then the same for the adversaries. So what we're probably going to do is use a turn order bar and call forward 1, open 2, defensive 3, rearward 4, and that'll be the order that the player characters go. Now there are some fighting actions you can take in combat, and I think what we're going to adjudicate is that if you're trying to affect a foe, so for example, intimidate or talk down, because you're not always. I mean, maybe you'll intimidate some men that are causing problems, some bandits that are not necessarily touched by shadow, but maybe you want them to stand down. So affecting the enemy is probably going to be a task in the forward stance. You can use a combat task, is what they're called, to intimidate a foe. So that kind of, to me, falls into that category. Open stance is sort of almost your default. In forward stance, you also get a bonus on combat tasks. You get a +1 dice to combat tasks, right? So to fighting, combat actions. I guess that's as opposed to task. So open. If you want to rally your comrades, you can use Enhearten, for example, to rally your comrades, give them back some endurance. You could use open stance, and that would happen in the open stance of phase 2. Phase 3 would be defensive, so that is kind of defending your companions, like putting the shield up in front of an injured companion, taking the hit, that type of thing. And then defensive also is +1 to parry, +1 dice. No, how does that? Is it +1? No, you get an extra parry. Is that correct, Arlen?
No, all of the stances now just give you an extra die or take away an extra die for both you attacking and for enemies attacking you. So forward, it's a bonus die for you attacking and for enemies who attack you. Defensive, it's a bonus die taken away for both.
Okay,
So
right.
you
So
don't attack as well, but they have a harder time hitting you.
and then rearward is the fourth phase, that we'll call it the fourth phase in a combat round, and that's for someone who is not engaged and either trying to escape or uh, attacking with missile weapons into the fray. I think that's correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's like in I always think about it as like in the battle in the Tomb of Balin in Fellowship of the Ring, right, where you have like the front line, Aragorn and Legolas and Gimli and Boromir are at the front, and then the hobbits are behind, and they're not really contributing very much until there's a bunch of orcs in there, and then they have to start fighting regularly. But that's like rearward stances. You're kind of backing out of it, and
Yeah.
you might be shooting your bow also if you have that available.
Okay. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. And what else was there? I don't remember.
That was it.
That was it.
I mean,
Wow.
well, for the most part, because you were talking about if I rolled the hopes and then the dice, and that if it's the Eye of Sauron, it's not always, but usually a failure.
Mhm.
And if you roll the good one, the Gandalf one, that it was always a success. And you were talking about sometimes it makes sense to spend a hope point to roll a d6 if I'm only like 1 or 2 away.
Right. So I don't think this is in the rules, but I'm allowing a house rule that you can spend a hope to get an extra d6 after the fact. Right. Um, if you're
Yeah,
getting a success. So you can spend a hope after your roll, seeing how close you are to your target number. And sometimes it's beneficial because if you have 6s already that you've rolled but haven't quite made the target number, it might be worth spending a hope to roll that extra d6 to get a success and then get a great success. Because any 6 you get kind of boosts up the level of success.
yeah.
Okay. All right, that was it for me. I don't think Arlen had any questions about it.
I don't know if Arlen, you had any questions, or that helps you clarify some things, or maybe make things work a little clearer. Probably also like the stance thing for our viewers, it'll be more clear too now, like what's going where, and it's not necessarily your position in the fight, but your kind of aggressiveness or passiveness in action. I guess it's the best.
Yeah. Well, it's also odd because we haven't really had a like a normal fight, right? We had the sort of struggle in the tavern in the Prancing Pony, and then the thing with Harrinan. But both of those were kind of like talking turning into fighting, and not just like, hey, there's a band of orcs and we're going to attack them, sort of thing.
Or a band of
So
evil men or whatever, right?
yeah, whatever else that would be just a regular like kind of straight up brawl that would,
Mhm.
I think, make it easier to understand, like, oh, here's how the different bits fit together in kind of the default setup.
Right. Okay. All right. So who wants to tell us what happened last time?
Um, can I delegate that to you, Arlen?
Sure, yeah. So we, the time before last, had arrived here at this elven refuge and found a couple of elves
Yeah, I'm going to
here.
see the Air Iador map so we can show like where they came from originally. And
Yeah, we came south from Bree, and then down and around, and we're
Mhm.
heading sort of into the foothills of the southern branch of the Blue Mountains. That was sort of the goal. But we got sidetracked when we found this elven refuge, and there were four elves here with one of no, three elves that we met, and one of them was missing.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Aranwi, the leader of this kind of elven um, squad, was missing, but Gwynin knows him, so we were worried about that. So anyway, and we know some of the kind of history of this place that has to do with Aranwi's sister, who there's some weird kind of shadow taint here, and also something happened to her, and she has now sailed off to the Undying Lands. But
So
there's
we think.
belief, so
Yes.
we think. Um, but there's believed to be, remnants, treasure, some stuff here that concerns the elves, and so that's why they're here. So at the start of last session, we were in the camp, and we were like, okay, well, we need to go find our elf friend, who's not a friend of an elf, but an elf who is a friend. And so we went marching through the woods, and there was kind of weird sort of shadow stuff going on in the woods. That the trees were um, viciously swiping at us and things like that. And that was uncomfortable and not so good. But we eventually made it to this lake that's kind of in the middle of um, this sanctuary, this kind of small section of woods, but also seems to be the center of this kind of shadow stuff going on. And so we were standing around at the edge of the lake for a while, kind of trying to figure out what to do. There were signs of struggle on the bank, basically, and it looked like maybe our elf friend had been dragged into the lake, and so we were worried about that, trying to figure out what we needed to do. Um, but we ended up causing some chaos and getting this strange, evil water spirit thing. Well, not necessarily evil, but opposed to us water spirit thing. The Op 4 water spirit came out of the lake, and we ended up through a combination of chatting and also some ferocious axe work from Bruni, if I remember correctly. We ended up smacking him around and talking him down, and the water thing turns out to be like a sort of corrupted elf who we were able to drag out and sort of not necessarily take prisoner, but keep an eye on out here. And we had some of the other elves do that. And then Orodreth and Gwynin went swimming down into the lake, and there's a whole kind of like underground cave system almost
This
in
thing.
there. Yeah, yeah. And Carl's showing that. And so we had to swim down through this little narrow passage into the cave system and came up. And one section had a sort of treasury, if you might call it that, a collection of things. And the other one had our buddy Aranwi, who was wounded but not dying, thanks to some help from the fellowship to do some medicinal healing real quick and get him back up and moving. And so we got him all out. And I think now if I remember, it's kind of mid afternoon or late afternoon, and we're sort of back out on the banks
Mhm.
of the lake and figuring out what we want to do next. Oh, and we found the treasure that I don't remember what it was. Maybe Amy, you remember what it was. That there was a piece of
An
treasure, like a necklace or something.
emerald bracelet.
Bracelet. Yeah.
Exquisite piece of elven workmanship um, that seemed to have some enchanted properties. And there is a message um, to Merwin, who is Aranwe's sister, from a Thalion, and it says, "Beyond the sea to the end of the world." So it was an exquisite piece of elven workmanship. And Aranwe actually said that Gwennon could have it as thanks for her help, but Gwennon is a little reluctant, if I recall correctly, to keep it.
Right, but Myrtle's not reluctant at all. She's a bit of a thieving little hobbit, but she thinks that if she takes the bracelet, she's kind of fond of this guy from the lake. She doesn't really want to see him as an evil spirit again. That's where her hope comes from. And she wants to talk to him about the bracelet and kind of befriend him.
Who that was, Myrtle?
Myrtle.
Yes, what's very interesting is like as he's calming down from his sort of corrupt lookingness, and after you defeated him, it's like almost the veneer of corruption and this kind of spiky, angry water thing. You see that the features are softening, and it becomes a slender elven man, or a slender man with elven features. It is still a spirit and sporting a long beard.
Mm,
Um, so things have calmed down. Also, Silrain was knocked out. Sorry,
yes.
she was also knocked out by the spirit, and she's being tended to. But that might be okay because she's a little hot-headed, apparently.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So,
And
Rander, they're
Rander
fascinated.
was
Yeah.
Rander was the one injured, right?
Yeah, he was the one originally injured.
Yeah.
Right. So he's probably like questioning. I would say he's questioning Myrtle a lot. And actually, there's like a round where you put Harunan, sorry. Um, right. This place has been sort of angry and corrupt, but it seems like almost like some lichens and moss and kind of watercrest kind of grow up around him, and then there's like butterflies and other like pollinating type insects that are flying around but not harassing you all. It's a very odd scene because I think Myrtle uh, kind of called on her relationship with the Grey Wizard somewhat.
Right, to make a tea for
Hmm.
him because she felt
Yeah.
like she could heal him, that he was just sick. So
Yeah.
I would think while everyone else was healing up and everything, Myrtle would have been brewing tea for everybody and kept a glass, well, a mug, because to her, a glass is like a shot glass.
Okay. All
Kept
right.
some for him, so she would have that to offer him.
Okay. Rander keeps like interrupting Myrtle because he's like, "Well, what happened? How did this happen? What did you do?" So whether Myrtle responds or not, we'll get back to that. But what is Gwennon doing?
I think Gwennon is probably sitting there smoking her pipe, sipping on the tea, just keeping a watch because
Mhm.
she's not opposed to Myrtle talking to him, and she's not opposed to, bringing him back into, shall we say, the fold, because her heart is to help those that she can. After all, she's a ranger, but mostly keeping an eye because she knows Rander,
Does
um,
she goes Aranwi?
Aranwi. She knows Aranwi, and she kind of is sticking a little close to him, kind of finding out what happened around the lake. Why'd you end up down there? Just spinning tales, I guess you could say, or gaining information.
Yeah. He doesn't seem to mind the closeness. Whether that's comfortable for Gwennon or not at this point, I don't know. So what about we'll go to Bruni first because maybe the elf has other. What is Bruni up to? So there's
So
this old elven man who was this weird looking spiky thing, you know.
So I think Bruni would like to sort of surreptitiously examine Heronin, our potentially elven guy, and maybe even use his lore to see if he can tell if he might or might not be actually an elf, but just in the semblance of an elf.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll get back to your role in a second. What is Orodreth doing?
So I think Orodreth, if Myrtle is willing to part ways with the bracelet for a moment, Orodreth has a little bit of crafting background because the elves of Rivendell famously are quite remarkable craftsmen. in their own way, and was wondering if he could basically, in the better light and with a bit more time, sit down and examine the bracelet a little more, try to figure out like what, because you said it's emeralds, but like what type of metal is it, and
Mhm.
maybe learn more about the perhaps the provenance of the bracelet in general.
Right, right. So, all right. So, Brenethil is kind of he's trying to like fix the place up, I guess, trying to keep busy and fix the place up. Slow Rain is still unconscious, and I guess either Gwennon or Randor has tended to her to, you know, quote unquote stabilize her, but she'll be out for a while. And who's this guy though?
That's our quote unquote little human that is supposed to be guiding us to the foothills that the elves don't necessarily approve of, shall we say. He's a traitor, allegedly, but he and his folk are the ones that came to the inn and were spouting around money and talking about how it was they took it from this tomb and all that kind of stuff. So that's where he came from.
Yeah, so he looks a little lost, like he needs some direction. I don't know if anyone. So he's just kind of standing, not even sitting, because he doesn't know where to sit, but kind of standing there, a little confused. Um, but it doesn't look like he's gonna run or anything, because he's probably more afraid of the dark woods
Hmm.
than than you all.
I would have thought Gwennon would have had him come sit with her
Okay.
because I mean she's keeping an eye on everything, but at the same time, in her mindset, she's like she has to protect the party from him, but he's part of the party,
Yeah.
so she needs to protect him as well. So
Okay. All right. Well.
keeps her
Okay. Yeah. Well,
within
he's
arm's
fine to sit
reach.
down. He's fine to sit down. He's like, I feel so useless.
I mean, Myrtle would have made tea for everybody, so everyone has the tea.
Okay. It's very grassy.
It's up to everybody if they drink it or not.
Yep. All right. So I guess we had some roles that could be prompted. So Bruni, I guess we'll start with you. That'd be lore.
Yeah, so I have lore, and I also have the distinctive feature rhymes of lore because I'm a scholar. It seems
Okay.
like that might apply with understanding, you know, beings of the ancient world and all that.
Okay.
All right, let's do that and that. Look at that. Great success.
All right. So you probably have heard about this guy, and you're like, now that you probably didn't recognize it at first because there's some corrupt thing that came out of the lake, and you're like, oh, I know that there are spirits associated with these elven places. Um, but is it has it been killed and replaced, right? So now that you see a truer form of Hurunen, you kind of put two and two together with the great success. You recall that there was a spirit, I guess his name is Hurunen, that was once a benevolent keeper of Tindalin, so a water spirit. And apparently, with a great success, I guess you feel that there's a betrayal in the past, and maybe these elven names that have been thrown about, Mirwen, Thalion, had something to do with that.
Mm,
Probably, and with the events that happened, right? The elves driven out from this area, um, then he probably succumbed to corruption and shadow.
mhm,
But he is in fact a spirit, though perhaps his association with the elves, he has made himself look like an elf, right?
Yep, yep. Makes sense.
So, so you feel like he probably watches the waterways from here, and as Orodreth and Gwennon described, what was underneath the pool, probably all the way to the Brandywine. So, the underground water system that probably goes all the way, down
Hmm.
to here. Right to here.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if there's any other. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if there's any other questions you might have, and that could be answered by that.
I don't think so. Not right now. That was kind of what I was expecting, but yeah.
Okay. So I guess you might have. So I guess if you try to help the spirit through his, I don't know, um, psychology, I guess
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a bonus dice in the future when you and Myrtle try to help him out. If you try to help him out, understanding his, his what it was about and what he came from, his betrayal and stuff like that. Talk him through it, maybe. All right. Now Oradreth.
All right. What do you want me to do for Oradreth?
Was Myrtle going to let him examine the bracelet?
Oh yeah, I'm assuming he would be examining that when she was making the tea. So these things are kind of all happening at the same time.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
And
All right.
quite
So
frankly, she hasn't asked Gwennon for it yet, too. So if Oradreth asked Gwennon, she would have handed it over. So
okay. Go ahead.
All right. I will roll. I don't think I have anything else that helps, but oh, look at that.
Oh, nice.
just so
Okay.
that our viewers understand what he rolled, is the one that we were talking about. That it's usually an automatic success because that's like a 6.
Right. Okay. So it is, like I said, it's emerald bracelet. It is made with thick intertwined silver threads and decorated with emeralds. Carved, and all the emeralds are carved in the shape of leaves. So it's pretty crazy, gem crafting.
Mm-hmm.
And then the engraving inside in the Elven language, which I guess with the feat success, right, you recognize it as sort of the style, uh, the style of like the Linden, right, area.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it says beyond the sea to the end of the world, right? That engraving. So it definitely seems like a personal message. This could even have been like a keepsake or a promise of betrothal, potentially from um, someone to Mirwin, maybe this Thalion person who keeps um, his name keeps getting thrown out there. So also, it does qualify as a marvelous artifact, and it definitely can impart a blessing of awareness on the wearer. I guess that would get you that sort of mechanical information. It's a very exquisite piece of elven workmanship. All right. Any other questions that I might have missed or that you think could be found?
Did you
All
say
right.
what
Um,
kind of metal it's made out of?
Yeah, silver threads.
cool.
Well, I mean, Gwennon and Ordress did see a lot of gems and jewelry accumulated down there too. Right?
Mm-hmm.
There is some potentially treasure to be had, but I don't know how much you guys are going to part that on the others, especially on Myrtle the treasure hunter.
Gwennon would say nothing to Myrtle. She would probably say something to Arani, or even possibly if she was talking to the water spirit, but pretty much nothing to Myrtle. It's best that those secrets stay secret till she finds out why they're all there.
So the tea is very helpful. If anyone has lost endurance, you can get some endurance back. Um, and if anyone wants to regain hope, they can spend some fellowship to do that. But I don't know if people are. This kind of counts as a rest here, as first Silrain and then eventually Harunan recovers somewhat, or at least Harunan, his resolve comes back especially with the tea. Oh, does Myrtle answer Randor's questions, or does she kind of like go about her business and kind of put him off?
No, I mean she's a chatty little creature. She would tell Randor that every life, and in this case spirit, is worthy of healing. It's I was taught at a very young age that you help your friends, and if they're not friends, you find a way to make them a friend. And that's exactly what I want to do. I think he can be a good friend. And she would offer tea to the water god or water spirit, whatever we're calling him. And she would say, "That's such a pretty bracelet that you had down there. I had to take a closer look. Where did you get it from, dear friend?"
What is he? What are you asking? Sorry.
She's asking the water creature, "It's such a pretty bracelet you have down there. Ordrith is fixing it for us because he saw that it needed some repair. Where all did you get it from? It seems very beautiful and dear to you."
Okay. Well, I guess Hiranen being addressed, he like sits up, um, looks around, somewhat confused, but sees like the watercress and the butterflies, and he looks at Myrtle and says, You remind me of someone."
Was she small in stature like me?
It says, the spirit says, No, more like those other, and he kind of, his kind of mouth kind of, you can see like is these because betrayers. He looks at like Oradreth and Aranri, etc. Randor kind of instinctively takes a step back. It's like his mouth like kind of twists, like he's trying to you know hold his anger back.
Can you tell me more about who I remind you of? I'm intrigued and I do like stories, and maybe I could turn it into a song so we can always remember who it is.
Song. He says, "Little one, sing me a song,
Okay, what do you want me to sing to you about?
something." These I guess I don't know. I guess he would call them elves, but I'm sure this he uses another term. Um, these elves, they upset me. They bring back bitter memories.
Well, she would probably sing a song about how when she was with the Grey Wizard, that they met up with elves and that they were at the Dancing Pony and they were talking about, you know, beautiful skies and how gorgeous the birds are and the beauty in the trees and how nature speaks to them, and she could identify with that. So I think that's what she would be singing about.
Okay, you
Um,
have. I think you have singing.
I do. Could I use a distinctive feature like merry or fair spoken? Obviously, burglary does not apply.
Maybe I think Mary. You're trying to sing an uplifting song that could work.
Okay. Nope.
Okay,
But is this a time when spending hope would make sense or no?
you're like
So you need a 5 or a 6 basically
hard to do.
to succeed.
The other feet dice didn't roll well, unfortunately.
Yeah.
No. Then she's just singing a song. Maybe it doesn't resonate with him, but that's what she's trying to do.
Yes, it is not the same. All right. Does anyone else want to do anything or talk to the spirit?
Well, instead of a
This is
song, could she
possible.
try telling him a riddle about it?
What do you mean a riddle?
Well, aren't riddles what hobbits use to tell tales?
Well, let's do this sort of like, yeah, they kind of do. I wonder if we could do this as sort of a council.
Mm-hmm.
So a council is like um, a social encounter that represents an event of extraordinary importance. You don't want this spirit to start fighting again, clearly, and you want to calm it down. Um, right. So I'll have to set the resistance. Okay.
I mean, Gwennon does not have song or riddle, so I don't know that she'd be the best one to start singing. But I mean, she has awareness
Mhm.
and lore. I don't know if lore would be appropriate.
Okay.
I mean, other than that, she's got insight. She's
All
not
right.
hunting.
So
She's not hunting him. So.
right. So I guess someone needs to attempt like to not necessarily cow, but impress the spirit before it, you know, you can see like I guess Bruni who's been watching it can see like, I don't know if it's the corruption, but it's almost like there's like a bubbling underneath, like maybe it's morphing back. That corruptness wants to grow those spikes back and turn it from this old pleasant looking elven man or older pleasant looking elven man back to that thing.
Well,
Um,
could Gwennon use her awareness?
no, it wouldn't be awareness, but so I'm going to set the resistance to 3 for this to kind of calm him down, maybe get him to tell you what has happened, because that's kind of what you guys want to do is understand where he's coming from, what the source of the betrayal is, the history of what happened here after the elves left. So we need someone who has awe or courtesy or riddle. Yes, riddle can help here.
Well, I mean, Myrtle has the best riddle. I mean, Gwennon has one in courtesy. I mean, I was almost wondering if healing could do it as well.
Not maybe not yet, but probably during the interaction, healing could help.
Mm-hmm.
So I think to
Courtesy?
kind of get him to calm down initially, to listen, to reason, I think that would be well, awe to impress him. So AWE, courtesy or riddle, if you feel like riddle might, you know,
Well,
get
I
him.
think
Gwennon
so.
has
Bruni.
one in awe and one in courtesy. But would Shadow Lore, True Hearted, or Bold come into play?
It could for awe. But what were you going to say, Arlen?
So Bruni has pretty good awe, and I think he could step up and try to impress. And he'll kind of step forward and say, "Ah, you know how those haughty elves are. Perhaps we should speak directly. Those of us who are not of their kind." And he's stepping forward, and he will also point out. He says, "Oh, and I know you have a great delight in shiny things." And Durin's folk can certainly sympathize because he has a fine torque that he wears about his neck that can help him with awe also.
Uh,
So let me roll awe, and I'll do a bonus die for the torque and do that. Yeah, look at
oh,
that.
great. It's a success. All right. So he does kind of calm down. He looks at the torque, goes, yes, I do like shiny things. And yes, perhaps if you have these elven elves move back, I will speak to you, human, um, small folk, dwarf.
Hmm.
So do the elves kind of fall back, or do they? What do you want? What do you want them to do?
Yeah, I'll have Orodreth go and round up the elves and kind of sit, over a little ways away, right?
Okay. All right.
I mean,
Maybe Orodreth can.
on the
Oh.
heels of that, what? My goodness, Randor is one with the water.
What the hell happened to him?
Hmm.
Okay.
On the heels
You
of
send you send
Bruni
Saruman
bringing
away.
him down, I think Gwennon would like to try to heal him.
Okay.
because then she could, if her healing is successful, explain that she learned these healing magics from the elves.
Okay. Yeah, I'll let you do. So what do we need to do? So okay, you can choose your own course of action. See, reluctant. I think you'd be open because you sent the elves away, fortunately. So there's no modifier to this.
What do you mean? I can't use any of my distinctive features?
No, it's Carl's doing the calculation for the council right now.
Yeah, I'm doing the. So we'll do. So go ahead and do. You can do healing.
Does my true hearted come into play?
Yeah, I think your sincerity could come into play here.
Because that is truly what she's trying to do.
Yeah.
And I think
So we're gonna. Yeah. Yeah. So you can do healing. So then what we're gonna do is probably just go around between Gwyneth. Gwendolyn's gonna start with the healing. Make sure that the Hernan is feels better in mind and body, and then we can go on to Myrtle and then Bruni, since he did the opening, we go to Myrtle to see what she wants to do to help with this negotiation, because you're trying to get him to, one, calm down, and two, explain what happened, right? And get information out of him basically,
right.
and that, so you need 3 successes in this amount of time. Oh, wait, is that right? I have to see how many successes you need.
Before we do that, could Gwennon take one of the fellowship things to gain one hope back so she can use it?
Yes. Did you didn't get any sixes right on your roll?
On mine, no.
So okay. So the time limit is 3.
It says you did 1d12. You got a 6.
No, it's the sixes only are special on the
Six
d6s.
sides, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. And okay, you only need three successes in the time of 3,
Yeah.
whatever that might be. That's pretty good. That's really good. Okay. All right, Gwennon. So I guess everyone has like 3 rounds to do something.
So Gwennon wants to use one
Heal.
hope.
Okay.
She's going to use the hope that she put back there.
So then you'll get 2 extra dice.
And true hearted with her healing.
So she'll get 2 dice, 2 extra dice.
And she's hoping for the best. Great success.
Nice. That counts as 2 successes actually, because it's a great success.
Mm-hmm.
So he is definitely calmed down.
And while she's healing him, she
all-
wants to tell him about her time in Rivendell and meeting Oradreth and all the rest of them, and how they taught her all of the ways to heal with elven magics, and it's only because of that she could heal him now, and
Yes, well,
she wants to
I
encourage him to allow Myrtle to sing you a song that she can write for you. And then you can always sing it yourself. And then when you feel as though you need comfort, the comfort will come.
okay. So, all right. So he does. So I think with a great success, you get a little bit of information too, in a way. Maybe focusing on what Bruni put forth, showing him the torque, and then Gwennon here talking about, kind of promote the elves. And he says, "Well, yes, I did come here because I was attracted by their craftsmanship. I loved the shapes that they could create." All right. So I'm giving you like a bit of his like history on why he came here, what happened. Okay. Myrtle's gonna say,
Gwennon would say, after he says that, she'd say, then I understand even more so why that bracelet is so beautiful to you. The emerald shaped like leaves must glisten in the sunlight and give you peace.
yes, sunlight. It is always dark here, it seems. All right. Myrtle wants to sing, or does she want to riddle?
She's better at riddle.
Yeah,
Much.
riddle might be better because she can try to
Much
get him,
better at
up them and
riddle
get him.
because can she use her Mary to get a dice to go with it?
Um,
Or
I'm
fair
gonna say
spoken? Obviously,
fair
Burgundy.
spoken. Fair spoken would work. I would say fair spoken. I don't want to use Mary because your song, if your song had been successful, then you could have kept with that theme. But I think fair spoken would be good in this case.
Okay, so she gets one, and she would use. She would definitely use. Can she use more than one hope to
I
get a
think you can only
dice?
use one hope at a time per roll.
Okay, then that's two of
So
them to go with
she'll get
riddle.
two. Yep, she'll get 2 dice. Nice. Oh, that's 3 successes. All right, Brunei, bring him on home. That was a nice roll. 24. My gosh. Yeah.
What?
Okay.
How many more would she need to have gotten to a great success? Because she rolled 0 on 0 for that.
I mean, it was pretty good. I mean,
So it's uh, your your great success is just based on rolling sixes on the d6 success dice.
yeah, it's not like
So
you roll over.
yeah, no amount of more total points will get you the more successes, but having more d6s that you roll gives you better odds of getting a six on at least one of them. Is basically the
Okay.
the
So that's
balance.
three successes in the course of like one round.
Yep.
So bring us on home, Bruni. Maybe not even you don't even need to roll because Gwennon was incredibly successful and Myrtle's riddle, he seems to be willing to talk.
All right. Well, Bruni has an idea, so Bruni will he'll sit down on that log there across from him and he'll say, "I be a mighty piece of gravel in their boots if you would tell us precisely what those elves have done to you." And he's trying to persuade him to talk.
Okay.
And yeah. So I've got persuade, and Bruni also is particularly cunning. It seems
Oh,
like that fits for persuading people.
oh,
And I'll use a point of hope on top of that to have a big collection of things.
ooh. Ooh, he's
Yes.
gonna tell you everything. That's awesome. All right. Um, oh, you did use a fellowship here.
I used one so that I
Yeah,
could spend them.
on the fellow here. You did use. Okay. All right. That's fantastic. Okay, so he goes. Because the elves would bring me trinkets and craftsmanship and uh it was I remember I know the singing and the ringing, he looks at Myrtle um and the I could hear, he even described like how when they would like twist the threads of silver and gold and how it resonated with him. And in time I became a close friend with Thalion, an elven explorer and a veteran of many battles. Thalion shared my love for crafting things and spent long hours on the shores of the lake giving shape to many objects made of wood and metal. But then the hard days came. The enemy brought war to Eriador, and rumors of armies marching south towards Sarnford multiplied. Before a scouting mission, Mirwen, Thalion's companion, begged him to stay away from the battle. Thalion had already been given enough to war, he said. He promised and sent her away for safety. Once she left, things then fell apart, however. The armies of the enemy reached Sarenford unexpectedly, and Thalion was forced to break his promise. He entered the fray only to be injured so badly that he had to leave. And Hernan says, I feel him no more. He must have gone to what the elves say is across the sea. He left a message for Mirwen, the silver and emerald bracelet that you hold, and a request to join him. This was entrusted to myself, and I undertook it to keep the arrival of Mirwen. But she never came. She never came. I waited for years for her to come. listening to the voices of the creatures that lived in the waters and the woods. In time, I realized that she would never return, and she had abandoned my friend, her friend, Valiant. It made me angry, very angry. I've caused a great harm here, he says, because you got an extraordinary success. He says there's something left that prevents any healing, and he points in this direction.
Mm-hmm.
Says I've caused great harm. I guess I am glad that you all have come. Glad. I do not think I remember saying that word for a very long time. But I would have. He kind of looks over at the elves and he says, like, Sylvain, very injured. He says, in the clearing, there is a path of stone tiles decorated with elven runes. There's uprooted trees. There is under a fallen tree, there is, and once marked by a circle of stones, but now hidden, there is a sturdy wooden door. There's an underground room. In there, my shame.
I'm assuming that's where the heart of Tindalin is.
Yes, but
Well,
well,
Myrtle.
he got an extraordinary success. So he says, it is the remains of a man. He
Mm-hmm.
came here seeking treasure, and in my anger, I destroyed him. But it is still there. The shadow.
Is
He
Myrtle
almost breaks down and cries, actually.
Myrtle is privy to this conversation?
Oh, yeah, you guys are all there. Soren is like freaking out, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, can Myrtle refill his tea and say, Aranwi is here, and he is the brother of your friend that never returned? Would you allow him to explain why she isn't here?
I think he would. He does say, but in order for this place to heal, you must destroy that thing.
Mm-hmm.
What, the bracelet?
No, the Shadow Man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Which,
the one that's in the
yeah,
downstairs area. Okay. Well,
I,
Myrtle would say, I'm sure there's many among us that would be more than happy to do that for you. And she'd refill his tea. And I mean, I don't know that it's feasible, but she would try to rub him on his back and be comforting to him if she could.
who, Myrtle?
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Can we
And
can we do a short bio break before we
Yes,
do
this
our
is a
next
good.
stage?
Yes, this is a good time for a break.
I think
Cool.
before we do that, Gwennon would probably look at the water beast and say, "Thank you for your honesty. That must have been very hard to recount for you."
Yes, it was, but I've suddenly gained some new resolve and maybe hope. And we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
All right. So for our viewers, it'll be just a blink of the eye. And paused.
Okay. So we are back. And I guess the decision is who's going to go follow Harunan, the only slightly corrupt now. Who's going to follow his directions to go confront this Shadow Man.
Well, Gwennon definitely will.
Yep. So Gwennon's going.
Myrtle would probably would probably go because she wants to help protect the spirit as well. I don't know how much she can bring to bear, but she will certainly try.
Okay. Bruni, Ardreth.
Yeah, Bruni and Oradreth are both in to go deal with the shadow.
All right. I wonder. So Silrain is still injured. I feel like a Ronway will go.
Yeah.
Um, Brander's still injured. Brendel will go. Okay. Cool. All right.
And I don't think Selman would go. I think Gwennon would give him the task of staying there to protect the spirit,
Mhm.
knowing full well there's nothing he could do.
The
But
spirit, the spirit says, "I cannot, but I will be here to help you if you survive."
well,
Much away to the forest.
Myrtle would say that, she's like, I am going to help you the best I can. Do you mind if I wear that bracelet in remembrance of you, and I will bring it back after we are done?
He's fine with the bracelet. I mean, yeah, he's fine with it. You guys did a very successful council. I mean, an extraordinary success and a great success. So, and did it very quickly. So it's really cool.
Because I thought you said that bracelet gives her a boost to confidence or something like that.
Gives you the blessing of awareness.
Blessing of awareness.
I'll have to look to see what that does.
I will type that on our sheet somewhere.
The blessings are on page 162.
Okay, so useful items, bracelet, and you said it's like +1 to awareness.
Yeah.
Okay, hopefully I did this correctly on the sheet.
All right. So when you wear a wondrous artifact, you get 2 dice when making a roll using that skill.
So it's +2?
It'd be 2 dice. Yeah.
Okay.
And you can achieve a magical success with that. Yeah, as well with awareness. Okay. All right.
Put that in parentheses because hopefully you remember what I mean by that.
All right. So you travel to this place. Deep into the woods, you find the remains of an ancient elven refuge. There are several flats scattered among the trees, wooden platforms built above the ground that elves would use as living places, set at different heights. They're all abandoned in different levels of decay.
Are we over
You
here?
find, yeah, probably like in this area here. Yeah. You find the description there in the center of the clearing of it. Um, there's like logs that were cut to a perfect height at one time, but they're all covered with moss and vines. You see the path. The path kind of comes into here that it follows all the way to the lake. Um, there, all these uprooted trees are around there as well, and you see the large fallen tree, uh, corrupt, decayed, that was once marked by a circle of stones there in the clearing in the middle of the flats. Um, there is a low, sturdy wooden door, and it's surrounded by large and twisted roots.
Okay.
It must have been at once like a fallback position or a bunker or I don't know. Who knows what it was? A vault to keep their treasure.
Does it look like the roots are in the way of the door opening that Gwennon needs to start chopping away at some, or
Um, I mean, you could chop away at them or pull the roots back if you wish. I mean, how do you want to?
I just think she would probably could she use her hunting skill and cut away at them or pull them off using hunting?
You don't need to roll anything. You could just pull it off.
Okay, she just pull them off then.
All right.
Rooney will say to Myrtle as Gwennon is working on that. Oh, do Hobbit children like tree houses as well?
Yes, of course. decide
Mm.
to play in them. We live in the roots of trees. You
It
should come
seems these
visit my
elves live like
village
that.
someday. Well, we don't have pointy ears, though. But we do have
Mm-hmm.
first and second breakfast,
Mm.
and first and second lunch, and first and second dinner. And then we have dinner of extraordinary consequence that I made up myself. That means I get yet another dessert. But my parents never knew.
Roll. Do you have in Hearten by any chance, Amy? Is your
Oh,
character
for which one?
for Myrtle?
Myrtle. As a skill, she has one.
Yeah, roll that for me, please. Give me. I just want to, and then give
No
yourself a
dice.
yeah, one bonus dice,
One bonus die.
and you can use Mary actually. Oh, but
Oh well, didn't matter. Should have.
Oh, well, you can do one more
roll
and
one more
you'd still
dice.
get it.
Yeah,
Okay, so just roll a d6.
yeah, yeah. You need a four better.
Oh
No.
no.
Oh no.
All right. So I don't know. For some reason, Aranwi kind of. And this is actually more to just have a reaction by your NPCs. So Aranwi says, tells Gwen, and does your little hobbit never shut up? Like he's a bit tense and angry. It seems.
Mm.
Gwyneth will put her hand on Aranwe's shoulder and say, Aranwe, the hobbits love to sing songs and tell riddles and speak of journeys. They are very chatty little creatures, but if you listen closely, sometimes you'll learn.
You notice he didn't say anything to the elf, to the dwarf. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
right? Picking on the halfling. All right, who's going first? Down in the hole. You open the door. Um,
I
it's
think
stick.
I'm pretty certain Gwenin would because she's the ranger. So I think she would take out her torch. I'm pretty certain she has
Yeah, I'm sure you
that.
have.
And she would take out her keen long sword because that's the one that's blessed, I think is what we called it.
Okay,
Has the special feature to it.
right,
Keen, is that what we called it? A keen long sword.
right.
And she would stand ready.
Okay. All right. So it leads into pitch black darkness. You put the torch on, and it goes. There's a tunnel, short tunnel. It looks like, and it looks like it opens into a larger room.
Ah.
So, all right. So you guys go in, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Myrtle would probably stand behind Bruni because
Mhm.
she's like, okay, well,
Mm,
he's still taller than me.
all right. All right. I don't know. Well, the order might be important. I mean, so Gwennon's leading the way. Bruni, are you right behind her, or who's?
I think how is it wide enough to go two at a time, or is it one at a time only?
It's one, but then it opens up into something larger. Say when you get to the entrance of this larger room, like a underground room, uh,
All
it
right, so
opens up.
I'll
So
have Oradreth after Gwenin, followed by Bruni, and then followed by whoever else. And Oradreth and Bruni will go, move into flanking positions as soon as it opens up.
okay, all right. So Orodreth, give me. Well, I was putting like. Sorry. Oh, what? Oh, we're doing it the other way. Okay, let's go. That's cool. That's cool.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's
I'm
fine.
assuming we're going
You're
this
going,
order.
huh?
Isn't this
Yeah,
order we're going?
yeah. You just reversed that my idea of where things were going. That's fine. That's fine. Let's see. What is a good or address? Give me I'm looking at your character sheet to see what's appropriate here. Give me an athletics test.
Mm-hmm.
Aranwi tries to like muscle his way close to you or past you. I mean, you can let him, but
Do
I don't know. He's not the player hero in this tale.
Just out of curiosity, um, can Gwennon be using her stealth?
You can. You don't need to roll though. I mean,
Okay. Because I'm assuming she would put her arm out. If she saw a Ronway coming, she'd put her arm out, like, kind of, like, no going further.
does Ordra say anything or just let him?
No, I'll let him. I mean, Ordrett's kind of like what's this guy's deal?
Yeah. All right. So he pushes, and then I guess Bruni kind of flanks, right?
Mm.
So yeah, so it's almost like something like this happens. All right, and then uh, Brenthel is back there with I don't know, Myrtle. I guess you're here behind Bruni.
She'd be, like, behind Bruni.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think Gwennon would tell a Ronway, we do not press forward. We very cautious, and you are recovering from many injuries. I would be pleased if you stood behind Ordra.
Well, he says, no, it is partly my fault or my family's fault. It is a question of honor. Anyway, so as Gwennon shines a light into this room, there you see like there's a huddled form of a man, presumably, although in um, armored, which is curious. And he's like curled around this chest, or it is curled around this chest. And then suddenly,
Is he unalived?
well, suddenly it moves. And I say,
Mm.
because this is what it is. This thing arises, sword in hand, pale light burning in its eyes,
Is
and
he of the shadow?
and it moves to attack. Maybe it whispers something in a ancient human tongue that Gwennon might somewhat understand, but it is a different dialect. It is mine. All right. So okay, so we're gonna go through these. So Sornin's not there. I got the turn order thing up. Myrtle, what stance are you gonna be in?
Should be open.
Oh, we have an opening round. That's right. Sorry, my bad. My bad. Sorry, guys. We have an opening round first.
So Gwennon can react.
Well, it's called the volley, right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, if you want to. I mean, you don't. Depending on how tight the space is, obviously, it
Um,
it matters. But normally, you do volleys as the two sides close. But obviously, if it's right there, we might not have time for that. Who knows?
well, I mean,
Or you could also do.
Ordreth, Ordreth and Brenthil might have their bows drawn, right?
Yeah, that would also be the place for volley is sort of like in an old school game of, well, if you had prepared shots before the fight starts.
And Myrtle might have like her sling ready, right? So
Hmm.
Her sling.
doesn't she have like?
I think she would have her little. She has a little bow.
Oh yeah,
An
then
arrow.
yeah. So you
Hmm.
guys can fire at this creature, and then we'll do that.
So she would
So
be.
I don't think
Would she
Aranwi
be
has this
open
word
or
out.
forward?
It's
So
not.
this is before the main combat starts. Basically, it's shooting before we get into the main phase of combat. So we don't need any. You don't get any bonus or penalty from stance right now. Basically.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So Aranwi has a sword out. He probably grabbed Silrain's weapon,
Hmm.
and then Bruni probably his axe, I guess. Gwen.
Bruni has a bow, but he's going to have his axe and his shield ready because we're underground. Dwarves know about the need to not get ambushed without a weapon in hand.
And then Gwennon had a torch in her blade out, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
I'm assuming that she would hand the torch over to Myrtle.
Well, we could do that in the next exchange. But
I mean,
okay.
she could just drop it and two hand her sword, but I think it's not a two handed one, right? No, she wants to use it as a two handed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can. We'll see how it goes. Right. Right now, she has a torch and sword in her hand, and then we'll
Yeah.
do the volley, and then you can decide what our actions are going to be.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
All right. And then obviously, like if people who are not, it's like Bruni, if he wants to do like a lore check or whatever.
mhm.
All right. Gwen and two could do a lore because she knows about Shadow, right?
Well,
Mhm.
I mean, she has the shadow lore thing.
Okay. All right. Well, let's
Does that come into play? Not with her first attack, right? Because you said this is kind of like a surprise round, so she doesn't get the bonus dice on that.
I don't. You don't get bonus dice in combat, but if she
No, I
wanted to
meant
make a
like
lore,
using a
if you want,
shadow lore instead of a hope thing, getting the extra dice.
for like a task, yeah, you could do that, but not. I don't think you can't use hope for combat if I recall correctly. Is that right, Harlan? Or is that a hold over?
You can use hope in combat. I don't think you can do distinctive features in combat because it
Okay.
basically as soon as you have more d6s in combat, it really starts to kind of break down a lot of the special stuff
Mhm.
because combat skills are relatively hard to get, and so that's kind of the balance of the game, right?
Right. But if you
Um,
wanted to like try to get information in this round, Gwen could use like you could roll lore or is it lore skill
yeah, lore is a
and get
skill to know
bonus
about.
dice. Use a
Yeah.
distinctive feature to get bonus dice. Okay. So you
Okay.
want to do lore first, or are we gonna open fire?
Well, I was wondering if it would be awareness.
You could roll awareness will
It
work.
says a high awareness rating expresses an extraordinarily watchfulness and is extremely useful to companion who serves as a lookout for the company. And she's trained in it, and she has 3.
Yeah, you can. I'll let you roll awareness, and
Okay.
the shadow would apply.
Okay. Great success.
Okay. Well, it is a barrow white, the creature. And as you look with a great success, as you look around, you're like underneath like that dead tree that's right in front of the door, right?
Hmm.
So it's a barrow white. So barrow whites, they definitely fight better in the dark, and they can. You've heard that they can, in a way, put people to sleep, right, with their dreadfulness, and they hate sunlight. I'm saying that because you got a great success. You think you can see like the roots, kind of the roots coming in, and the roof of this underground chamber is not it's not super supported. So you could, I mean, a strong person could pull some roots and get some sunlight in here if they wanted to. All right,
Okay. Then I think
Bruni,
that's. She would say
Bruni.
that to Bruni and Oradreth too.
Okay,
That's a barrow white, and it behoove us to have the sunlight and lighten our fight.
okay, Bruni.
Yeah, I'll have Bruni do a lore, see if I can get anything else
Okay,
for this guy, but I don't know that there's anything particularly else. Oh, look at
Oh.
that. Bruni's so good at
he
lore.
has an ancient sword that can and a chilling touch, and it has a chilling touch about it. So its
Hmm.
hand is like glowing with some, I don't know, darker darkness. I
Hmm.
guess as it says that, and it has an ancient sword on it, um,
Hmm.
that can pierce armor.
Pretty dangerous stuff.
Okay.
Can Myrtle do stuff too?
Well, she was gonna shoot her bow, right? So the other guys are gonna shoot their bows.
Well, I mean, she doesn't have to shoot, right? Not yet. I mean, she has it out because I was thinking she would like to either sing a song or do a riddle. Probably a riddle to try. What she's trying to do is instill courage in the group.
Probably singing a song would be the best thing.
Okay. And does none of her stuff comes into play, right? The merry or fair
No,
spoken.
not here.
Okay. Then she will use a hope to get an extra die.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops, wrong number. Go. Went the wrong way. I think I did. it right. All right. Extraordinary
Oh,
success.
dang. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna have in the first round of combat, everyone's gonna have a bonus dice, and also when you have to make your valor roll against the dread of this thing,
Mm-hmm.
you'll get a bonus dice plus your bonus dice from Gandalf.
Nice.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Two dice.
Yeah. So 1 dice for combat and 2 dice for valor.
Yeah,
Okay.
All right.
but not yet.
Not yet.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. All right, and then Oradreth, I think we'll take a shot since
Okay.
that seems like the thing to do.
You can
All
use that
right.
song for that if you wanted to.
Say it.
You can use the bonus dice from Myrtle's song, the Hobbit Song of Battle.
Yeah. All right. Bonus dice with a bow. Take the shot. Does the target have any bonus or penalty to parry?
It does not.
No change to parry.
Mhm.
Success.
All right. The 3 damage.
Oh, and it's only a regular.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, okay, well, I think I should spend 1 point of hope
Okay.
and try to get a 6.
Yep.
9. Because I'm already so close on the feat die that if I get a 6, I will be able to do a piercing blow. No. Oh well. Okay, so just a little bit of
the red
damage.
bar, right? You can see the red bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
no,
but I really wanted to do a piercing blow to
I know.
seriously smack him.
All right. So Brenthil is going to fire as well. So I will roll for him. And I think he will also use your bonus dice. Unlike Aranwi, he respects the Hobbit. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he does hit it too. It's 12. 12 and 6. Yeah, 18. He hits it too.
Mm-hmm.
But no bone special. So that's 3 damage as well, right? The bow.
Yeah, for a regular bow.
Okay. All right. Nice. All right. So now that's the volley round.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Can Gwennon, if she lights the roots on fire, would that be enough light for the barrow to be affected as it burns down and lets the rest of the light in? Or would that cause damage to us?
It'll probably create smoke. It might weaken the ceiling a little bit, but I don't think it would take some time for it to cause a quote unquote cave in, but it'll weaken it if you wanted to you can just do that as you can just try to light it on fire, and we'll just roll a d6 to see if it catches on fire.
But wouldn't that puts us not in a good situation for shooting at him then, right?
Yeah, it creates smoke, and you would know that it could create smoke. I mean, the roots are kind of wet, and someone would have to pull on it, right?
Yeah, I think it's better to not try to use fire to
And you would know that. The fire. I mean,
I'm just
smacking the barrel light.
because while she was doing that, while she was, using her awareness or whatever we had her do, she probably would have dropped the torch.
Oh, we could do that in this round too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to cost you anything to drop as you close.
Okay.
All right. So Myrtle, what stance? So there, you're on your. You guys outnumber this thing, so you can be in any stance, right? Myrtle, what stance?
Well, she would have now. She'd have her bow ready to go, so I think she'd be forward. Is that what we're calling it? Number one.
No, forward is like
Whatever number one is, where she's taking an action forward.
yeah,
Uh,
um,
So the
yeah.
what do you want Myrtle to do, Amy? Is the I think the question.
Shoot.
Because okay, so that specifically is something that you do in rearward stance. The other three stances are all melee stances, and rearward is a range stance, basically.
Well, I guess she's going last then.
Okay. Well, Brenthel is also doing rearward stance because we are the bow support Myrtle, right?
She's
Or address it.
standing behind Bruni though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She'd step out from the side of him to shoot. She won't hurt him.
Yeah, no
I'm
problem.
doing both of my guys into open right now.
Open. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Gwennon, what stance do you want?
Forward. She's gonna drop the torch and take her two-handed sword and go at him.
All right. And then Soul Rain and Rander are not there. All right. Can you guys see the?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So Gwennon, do you
She
drop the torch?
and go
Mhm.
at him.
All right. So you're gonna get two. Well, so now you got to roll your valor, but you get 2 dice for valor.
Okay, how do I roll my valor?
It's at the top of the character
Okay,
sheet.
up here. Okay.
Yeah. And you get 2 dice.
Two for that.
Mm-hmm.
Do I get anything for bold, true-hearted, or shadow law? Shadow lore?
No, but I think you have. I think it's favored for you already. So, but
Yes, it is.
yeah.
Just asking.
Okay.
Success.
Nice. All right. So you only suffer one dread or whatever.
One dread. Fatigue, or I don't know where to put dread.
Where is that? It's not dread.
It's a shadow.
Shadow. Yeah, one shadow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then you have for forward stance, you have a bonus dice, and you can use Myrtle's Song for an expert. You have 2 bonus dice to attack as well.
Okay. And then stance. I have to click it over here, right?
Yeah, click forward.
Forward.
Yeah.
Stance.
Yeah. Oh, forward will give you a bonus dice already. So just give yourself one more bonus dice.
Okay. And I wouldn't use shadow lore or true hearted or bold for this, correct?
Yep.
It says targets parry.
Don't put anything there. 0.
Success, and then it says this is my long sword, my keen long sword.
You do 5 damage.
It says 9 plus two-handed 18.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you did 5 damage to it.
Injury. So what's the difference between damage and injury?
Injuries, if you get like a piercing blow, then I have to roll over a 16 with its armor, or it gets a
How do I get a piercing blow then?
Arlen.
So yeah, so a piercing blow is based off of your feat die roll. Because you have a keen long sword, you need a 9, a 10, or a Gandalf basically on the feat die. But you can also boost the feat die rating for the purpose of a piercing blow with extra 6s on your d6s. But basically, what that is damage is just like kind of regular hit point damage in a lot of games, right? You just sort of beat them up a bit. And then injury is like you actually hit them and they have to roll a damage save essentially or take a wound. And that also applies to our characters. If an enemy hits a piercing blow on us, then we have to roll on basically an armor save or take a wound, which is how you get in really bad shape, basically.
So would this be a useful time to use a hope to try and get a 6 or no?
I don't think it is because so you got a 7 on your feat die. You need a 9 on the feat die to get a piercing blow because you're a keen longsword. And I don't remember they. I think they made it so that all of the weapons get a different amount of bonus on the piercing blow bonus thing, and I remember thinking that was dumb because it made spears more powerful than swords, and I don't like that because all the swords in Lord of the Rings are magical, and there's only like one magical spear in the whole Tolkien Legendarium. But anyway, I don't think you're close enough to benefit from that. No.
Okay.
And you already did 5 damage, and that's a pretty big hit anyway. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Aranwi will roll his courage, and he benefits from. He doesn't benefit from the Gandalf, but he benefits from. Courage is just a 2D, right? Or like just what did I roll for that? Valor.
Your Valor?
Yeah.
Yeah. His Valor's probably like a 1 or 2.
Yeah. Okay. So he probably gets 3 dice. Oh. Okay. Um. He holds back.
Mhm.
Gwennon would probably lean back to him and say, "Pull the roots."
Okay. Okay. Yeah, he holds back. It's like he's kind of feels the dread that this thing exudes as its hatefulness.
He wouldn't.
Um,
He wouldn't reach up and pull the roots.
well, I'm gonna because he's like stymied in a way. I'm gonna say he'll do that at the end of the round, right? After,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so but anyway, he suffered a little bit of courage here.
Mhm.
All right. That's it for you. Those guys. Aradreth or Bruni.
All right. So Orodrith will say, Gwynen's trying to get Aranway to deal with the roots, and Orodreth will do the same thing with Brent. They'll say, clear the roots, friend, as he charges in with his sword
Okay.
to go after the Barrow-wight. All right, so
Make it
Orodreth's going to
Valor.
roll,
Valor.
roll his Valor with 2 bonus dice. Yes.
Oh, you do not take any with extraordinary success. You do not take um shadow.
Well, that's good because I don't heal shadow as fast as everybody else. So,
And also, furthermore, if it tries to do like a shadow related attack,
mhm,
I'll give you a bonus dice to resist.
nice.
With
All
that.
right, and now I will try to hit it with the long sword.
Okay.
There's the long sword. I will use 1 point of hope as a bonus dice. I'm burning through it a little fast, but that's okay. And no bonus for parry.
But don't you get one for Myrtle?
Well, I already used one for Myrtle for my arrow shot.
Yeah.
But that's
Oh,
okay.
It's a great success. So, but no piercing, right?
Great success, no piercing, but I can do heavy blow adds your strength to the damage again.
Okay.
So that is a hit for 10 damage.
Jeez.
No, hit for 11 damage because you get an extra +1 for it being two-handed. So yeah, 11 points of endurance loss.
Okay. Dang.
That's pretty good.
Yep. Bruni.
All right, Bruni will also similarly charge in to try to get this thing. So he's going to do his Valor check for Shadow. Great success.
All right. He only loses. He doesn't lose any either, right?
Yeah. Doesn't lose any and doesn't get the
Doesn't get
penalty
the
to
extra.
shadow effects.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Bruni's got his long hafted axe and he's going to charge in. He's not going to use. Oh, he's going to use the one special die from Myrtle to attack. No bonus to parry. No. Terrible.
Terrible.
Oh, well.
Well, why'd you roll like a bunch of? Oh my gosh! Like
Yeah.
3 ones, a bunch of ones.
Terrible.
All right.
Oh, well.
All right. Myrtle, you go before the NPC.
Well, Myrtle's like, no one's taking care of the roots, so
But she can shoot at it.
that's what I was thinking. Either that or climb up and try and hang from the root.
It'd be probably if you want to do that to the athletics test. I'm fine with that. If you want to do that instead.
She's not very good at
Yeah.
athletics. So I guess she'll shoot her bow at the roots.
No, I don't think that'll.
Or use her goblin short spear.
Well, I think she said she wanted to shoot this round, and then if she can charge in next round if she wanted to, or stab at the roots with her spear next round. Or I guess this round you could.
Well, I mean, she
You're in the rearward. Yeah.
was just trying to shoot at the roots because you told me now she has to shoot. And you told me she could shoot at the roots.
I thought you were shooting at the creature. The shooting at the roots didn't do anything, but your goblin spear, you can start stabbing up at the ceiling and try to bring it down, or open a hole. That's yeah, you could do that.
Okay. And she'll use one hope for that.
Okay.
Plus she gets her one dice from her thing, right?
Yeah.
So that's 2. Here's hoping she can get the roots out of the way. Do I put in a target parry?
No.
Great piercing blow.
I think that works.
Nice.
I think that works.
Against the roots.
Too bad you didn't attack the creature with it. That'd have been awesome. But okay.
Well, that she was using that goblin short spear that she took.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if that has anything special to it.
I mean,
I guess she wasn't using awe.
I mean, if you want to change amend, I'll let, since it's such a great roll. I don't know. You want to amend? It could be halfling luck, right? She throws it at the roots, and then it bounces from the ceiling and strikes the creature. Because it says it can be thrown. What do you think, Arlen?
Yeah, if that seems like a hobbit thing to do, to accidentally stab the bad guy.
Okay.
Okay. So that's 4 damage, and then I have to roll injury. Is that right? Piercing blow?
Yes. On a piercing blow, you have to roll versus the injury rating. That's the difficulty of the test, basically.
And the roots stay in.
And then the light spills into the
The light does come out. Okay.
submit. No bonus dice. Oh no. So it
Oh,
well, what does that mean? It's fine.
yeah, it doesn't. It shrugs it off, unfortunately. It does take the damage from
It does
hit
take the
also.
damage, so that takes it to 0. Right? -2. That takes it to 0, so that's another wound, right? Potential wound, or what is that? If the
It makes it weary, I think, if it's a special, because it's either if it's a I don't remember. No, it's loss of hate makes it weary. I think it has to spend a hate to stay in the fight.
Yes, it has to have to spend a hate. Okay, I have to spend a hate. All right.
And their hate is like our hope.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want me to show you the hate rating on it, or do you would rather be surprised? I already used 1 hate, and now I have to use another one. All right.
That might be good, so we can see, so that we can write for the kind of strategic side of this game. Well, and that helps kind of explain the back and forth.
His little hurt barometer went away. Is that because he's at 0?
Yeah, but
yeah.
All right, so you can see that. But he spent a hate to get that back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so he's at full health again?
Well, it kind of I don't know what
I think he gains 1 back basically, so another hit will take him down. If I remember, but I don't know.
Right now.
No, it
well,
says,
and if he's
it says because deathless, right?
Oh yeah, for this one.
Yeah,
I was
spend
thinking
one
for
hit to
normal.
cancel a wound, which I would have had. I did if you had wounded, I would have done that too.
Yeah.
But okay, if when an attack inflicts damage to the creature that would cause it to go to 0 endurance, spend one hate to bring the creature back to full endurance instead.
Yes. Okay. Because it's a different. I was thinking because like for orcs and stuff, I think that's the way they do is that you can spend one hate to basically keep them alive.
Right.
Um, but for a bear or white because they're hard to kill,
Yeah,
nastier than normal. Okay. Well, that's fine.
that's fine. All right, but so however it does that, so it's weakening, and then now it is the light has spilled in here, so now it no longer gets a. It's no longer favored to attack.
Nice.
So Brenthil, do you want him to shoot or do you want him to like pull?
Before he does that, can Myrtle tap over to or say, I guess, under her breath or whatever to Bruni? Maybe that elf won't hate me so much now that I've got the light in here, because he obviously doesn't know how to take out roots.
Mhm.
I will
Okay,
sing a tale next time about that.
so you incorporate that into your song.
Yes.
All right, Brenthil is gonna shoot then. Okay, and oh man, I don't think I hit though. 9, 9 and 4, 13. I think they needed like a 16 or 15, right? Yeah, that's too bad. All right, all right, he misses
Oh,
unfortunately, but you know, so the white is going to attack. It's going to attack Orodreth.
yep.
Oh wait, Aranwi's gonna um, he's gonna keep pulling at the roots. Then after Myrtle lit the light in, he's gonna maybe he's trying to make amends. Myrtle. He kind of looks
He
at you,
doesn't want to be in the
looks
song.
at you, nods his head, and he like starts pulling the roots, and then the light just like there's all this dirt and stuff falls in, but then this light shaft kind of hits and highlights the fight that's going on. The barrel, oh shit.
What?
All right. The barrel white's gonna lose another hate at the start.
Mhm.
At the start of next round, it's gonna lose another hate. That was brilliant. All right.
Nice.
The barrel white, it's attacking. Oh, I can actually roll for it on here. It's going to attack with this ancient sword against Orodreth. I didn't get any. I don't get any bonus dice. Oh no, it's in forward stance, so it gets one bonus dice.
Well, I don't think it takes stances. No, it does. Yeah.
It does. It does. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I have to unclick favored.
Yep.
Okay. All right, and I submit. Oh, to put your. Oh, I have to put your parry. Do I put your parry here?
Oh, are you using the PC side sheet?
Yeah, the
So,
adversary. What's your parry?
my parry as Ordreth is 18.
18. So do I put that there here? I guess.
I think so. Let's see. We'll roll it and see. Yeah, target number 18.
Yeah, it fails. Nice.
Yep.
Great.
Nice.
All right, and then it's going to reach out to try to uh, touch. Yep. It's going to reach out to try to touch Gwennon, and it says join. Oh, so Gwennon, what's your? Let me go through here. Nope. Yeah, it does have bonus dice.
Yeah, I don't think enemies take stances. I think they just have targets because then they would need to
Oh,
take another penalty to be hit essentially on our turn, right?
yeah.
So I think
Oh, that's right. That's right. You're
yeah.
right. Okay.
So I think they just essentially they can benefit from the player stances, but they don't take stances themselves.
All right, so no bonus dice anymore.
Well, it would get a bonus dice
Parry?
to hit Gwennon because Gwennon was in forward.
Oh, right. Yeah.
17.
Okay, so 17. I gotta do this again. Right. That makes sense because then it would get like 2 bonus dice or something.
Yeah, yeah.
17. Failed.
Nice.
Okay. All right. New round. Gwennon, make sure you go before I want her on me.
Well, we
Oh,
can take new stances, right?
yeah, you can pick new stances too.
Yeah.
She's
So it
making
does.
hers.
It loses a hate because of the sunlight. Okay.
She's keeping hers.
Okay. Aranwi, I think he has to move to rearward because he's cowed. You know.
Hmm.
Um,
He can go heading back there with Myrtle because she's shooting still.
yeah. And then
Because she
Aradra, are you in forward stance?
Yeah. Ordreth into forward. Bruni stays in open.
Myrtle, you can run forward and stab it with your spear, it's still sticking in it if you want to do that.
okay, so then she would go to forward.
Forward or open?
Forward.
Forward. Okay. All right. So who wants to go?
Gwennon.
Gwennon, Ordrith, and Myrtle.
Yeah, because Gwennon's not going to let the Hobbit go up and get past.
Brenthel is going to stay in.
She's supposed to be protecting everyone, so.
Brenthel is going to stay back. All right. Okay. Gwennon doesn't have to roll the. Myrtle's going to have. Oh, he's okay. No, that's okay. That's fine. We're all good. No more. He can't. I mean, he's suffering, so he's not going to try to dredge you guys again.
Hmm.
Okay. Gwennon, you're up.
Okay, she needs to use another hope, I guess. So that she gets the 2 dice, the one from.
Forward. Well, forward's already incorporated, but yeah, you can use a hope.
So she doesn't get the thing from Myrtle anymore?
I think Myrtle's still singing. Yeah.
Okay, then she won't use a hope. I'll put that back because then she still gets the 2 dice. So 1 here and 1 from forward.
It's like the Hobbit luck is manifesting. I mean, you saw like the light spill in, and then somehow the spear like flips around.
Hmm.
So just a regular success again.
Yeah. Does she have enough for the? Or no?
Enough
She got an
for what?
11.
Uh,
Why does it
I
say
think if
8
you
and
rolled a
11?
6, you could get a piercing blow.
I have a question here.
Hmm.
It says 8 and 8 because 11 is the Eye of Mordor. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, 11 is the eye.
So if she does roll a 6, she could get a piercing blow if you
If
wanted
she
to.
does, yeah, if you wanted to use a fate, not a fate, a hope point to fish for a 6 to do a piercing blow, you could. But it probably doesn't. I mean, I would tell you that that's probably not worth it, but you could go for it if you want.
Um,
You jacked it up, so I mean,
she'll try. Why not, right? Because you said I get it back, so. Hopefully. No.
Nope.
Total
Okay.
waste, but whatever. Okay.
Oops. Or a Dreth.
All right,
Oradreth then Myrtle.
Yep.
Oradreth is going to try to intimidate foe from forward, and so he raises his sword so that it's, glinting in the sunlight streaming down from the ceiling, and say, "Back to the shadow."
Okay. And
So
that'll
that's
tackle Tate, right?
yeah, that'll go against his hate with a penalty based on his might is 2, right?
There's -1.
His might is only 1. Oh well.
This
All
could
right,
be
so that's a
very good. Yeah.
yeah, nice. I was worried that, but that's cool. All right, so I will probably end up spending a hope, but I'll save it for just now.
Oh, you do get a bonus from Myrtle.
But I'll do my 1 bonus from Myrtle and roll my awe and see. Yes,
If
great
it were,
success.
if it were might 2, so now it's weary.
Is weary for this round, I think. Yeah, because it's an extraordinary success is weary for the fight.
Yeah.
But that's a good way to keep it from hurting all of my buddies.
Right. Okay.
For now.
And
As
does it lose
Myrtle,
hate? It doesn't lose hate though, does it?
I don't remember. It might lose 1 hate. I don't.
Can look it up while
Yeah,
Myrtle.
yeah.
Well,
If you could check, that would be great.
As Myrtle's running up to grab her sword out of the barrel white, she wants to tell Ordra, I will include that also in my song. And I will sing of how the light is radiating around you and highlighting what you have done to this creature in front of us.
all right, Myrtle, your turn to attack.
And she will spend a hope to get another die as well. So then she's got hers plus that one. Alrighty.
Plus 4. Yeah, you're in forward stance, right?
Yes,
Click forward stance.
I did. So it'll be 3, but I'm only putting 2 for the bonus dice. So the hope and the one that's from her
Yeah.
song, and then the other. Oh
What?
man.
Oh, that 2 killed you. Okay. Bummer. Okay.
Well, she's also got Myrtle has a target number 18
Yeah.
for strength because she's a hobbit. So
Yeah. But that was awesome. The other thing that she did.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. Bruni.
But she has her goblin sword back. So
Yeah, she has her goblin short spear back.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, that's a curiously wicked spear there, Myrtle Brandybuck. All right.
All
Bruni.
right. Bruni is gonna do the axe smacking trick.
Okay.
All right. 1 bonus die for Myrtle, and target's parry 0. Great success.
Well done.
So that's another big heavy blow smack. So 6 points for the axe, plus another 6 points for my strength. 12 points of endurance loss on that heavy blow.
All right.
Myrtle is going to yell out, my song is getting ever so long. But Bruni, I feel as though I must put that ahead of Ordrith's. I apologize, Ordrith.
And then Haranwi is gonna, I mean, he's gonna back up and shoot.
Mm-hmm.
He drops his sword, but pulls his bow and backs up and shoots. I guess he's still. All right, well, we'll see.
And he gets the one from Myrtle.
Yeah, he gets the one from you, but he's. Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh no, that's not good. All right. He misses. I'm pretty sure. Well, I don't know. Yeah, he misses. Okay. I got this guy. So I got an Eye of Mordor.
Oh.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity.
Just too bad because I rolled a 6, and a 5/5. But oh well. Okay.
Why are the target numbers always different? Like when Gwennon's attacking the Barrow Knight, her target number is 13. When Bruni does it, it's 15. When Myrtle did it was 18. And then when Bruni did it again, it's 14.
It's based on your strength.
Yeah, so it's your 20 minus your strength rating gets you your target number for all of the strength skills and also for your combat skills.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a calculated target number based on your character's abilities, basically. So it's sort of like having a high strength score in D&D, right? That you get essentially a de facto bonus to hitting things based on having high strength. But then heart works the same way for the heart skills and for valor rolls, and wits works the same way for wit skills and for wisdom rolls.
All right. So for in contrast for Brenthil, I rolled a Gandalf rune and he hit.
Nice.
So does that make it a great success?
Doesn't make it a great success, but does make it a piercing blow.
Piercing blow. Okay.
Yeah. So it's another, and if it's just a regular bow, I've got the bow on my. It's only like a 14 injury, but that's still nasty.
He does
especially since he's weary this round.
He does 3 points of damage, right?
Yeah, 3 points of damage plus a protection from injury roll from the Barrow White. And remember that the Barrow White.
Failure.
Yeah, weary. Nice.
So I have to spend a hate to overcome that wound. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. Good shot.
Excellent.
Brenthel is going to be humming a chord to help Myrtle with the melody. Because he doesn't know the lyrics, but
She's
he's trying to
very
follow along.
excited that he's finally singing her tune.
The Barrow White then, all right, its first attack. I think it's going to try to focus on the elf with the sword.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, so it's better. So now with everything marked, it's better. So now it's weary, right? This round. All
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
and all right. So sword, no bonus dice.
One bonus dice to
One bonus.
Ordreth isn't forward.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
One bonus dice. Your parry is 18, right?
Parry is 18, yes.
Nope.
Nice.
Chilling touch. He's going after Myrtle. He wants that song stopped. She's in forward stance. What's your parry, Amy?
Not very much, 19.
Not very big. Okay. I don't think there's a way.
I didn't think it was much until I pulled it up.
Did I fail? Yes, I failed.
She's got more parry than Gwennon
Yeah,
does.
I know. It was a quick. Yeah, that's a total fail. I rolled a 1 too. Jeez. Okay. All right. Although on these, if I roll like an Eye of Mordor, that's a auto hit, right? So
Yes, they treat auto eyes as we treat Gandalf's, basically.
yeah, it might take that into cooperation. Okay. All right. Dang. Okay.
Yeah. The making him weary on this round has been really good for us.
So he's no longer weary.
Yeah, no longer weary.
How do we make him weary again?
So that is by doing, if you're in forward stance, you can do the intimidate foe action, which is basically uses awe to intimidate them, and they get, if you succeed, depending on the level of success, you make enemies roll as if they're weary for 1 round, or potentially for the rest of the fight, although that's hard to get. Um,
Well,
All right.
she doesn't have much in on. She's better fighting, so.
All right. So are we going to keep the stances? Are we changing any stances?
uh,
I think Myrtle's gonna go over here, right behind Bruni. So I guess that's what, open stance, or is that
Go
still
to open.
huh?
Okay. You're going to go to open.
Is that what it is? I mean, she just
Not
wants to.
necessarily.
well, it depends on what you want to do more than like where you are
Yeah.
position wise.
Well, she wants to move over by Bruni and take out her bow.
Okay. So she wants to move back. Okay.
So if she wants to move back to shoot, that's rearward specifically.
Yeah.
But then she loses the extra dice, right?
Yes.
Being in forward, then she'll stay in forward. But she's gonna go
So
over here by Bruni because she's
Yep.
working on the song.
Yep. Okay. Got it. All right. So who wants to go? What's going on here?
Well, do you want Ordreth to go before Gwennon, or it's up to you?
Ordreth could go. I think Ordreth is going to do the same thing, try to intimidate it down so that it's weary for everybody else, because that seemed like that was really good for us.
All right.
I
So
guess let me see if Bruni. No, Bruni's not going to do that. Ordreth will do that again.
Okay.
Do awe with a dice from Myrtle. Regular success, but that's enough for
Yeah.
this
So that's
guy.
weary, right?
Nice.
Okay.
So he's weary again.
Yep.
Yay!
All right. So then I'll have Ardrith and then Gwennon and then Bruni and Myrtle, so we can go back and forth between player characters. Players. So Gwennon.
She's going to attack again. So she's going to use her longsword again, two-handed. She's got the open stance and the dice from Myrtle's sawing. She's not going to use another hope because that doesn't seem to Yeah, that affected.
You need to use it just
There
in
we go. No, I didn't need it.
all right.
So a great success. So it's two-handed. So does that mean it's piercing? Since it's a great success, or no?
No, that does double damage, right? With the mighty.
Yeah, so you can. So the way it works, piercing is just based on the feat die. So the great success potentially could boost a feat die, but this is not close enough. So what great success can do is you can use your sixes on success dice, your success markers, to do special things. So what you want to do here basically is to do heavy blow, which means that you will do the damage from your sword plus the damage of your strength rating in endurance loss. So you hit them hard basically.
Okay.
What's your strength rating?
7. My
Wow.
endurance is 27 and my rating is 7, and it says TN is 13. I don't know what that means.
Yeah. So 7. So she does 11 points of damage, right?
12.
Well,
5 plus 7. Yeah.
I have to use it. I have to use another hate.
Yep.
Okay. Those are like bennies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that puts him to full endurance again.
Yep. Okay. But I wonder if it like overlaps. So because he had 2 and you did 12. So does it do 10 more then? How does that work? What do you think, Arlen?
I think it's a ruling up to the GM whether or not it overflows like that. I guess I would say normally when you use a hate to stay in the fight, it wouldn't overflow, right? But with this guy, part of his special thing is that because of the way that his health comes back, he gets more. So I don't know. I guess it's up to you.
I mean, you're definitely fighting him, and barrel whites are tough, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can see it's getting you strike a mighty blow, and it's getting wearier. It's fading, starting to fade, I guess maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's cool. All right, Bruni.
All right, Bruni will smack with the axe one more time. All right, I'm now in forward, so I'll do that. Do the axe, do the 1 bonus die here. No targets parry.
Yay! You got
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so that is another 12 points of endurance loss.
All right. All right. Myrtle.
Myrtle is going to wipe off her blade and try and stab him again.
Mhm.
But she will use a hope point because she's got plenty to burn. So her goblin short sword.
Goblin spear, actually, but yeah.
Well, short spear, but I read it wrong. Great piercing.
Nice.
Oh my god.
She
All
wants
right.
to turn to Bruni and say, I was so inspired by you.
Let's calculate the grievous damage first.
I don't know how to do that.
So it's a great piercing blow. So what's your strength rating?
Her strength, 2.
Is a 2, right?
It's a 2.
It's a 2. So she has you still do 6 points of damage, right?
Now, on the goblin short spear, there's F, G, and K. So under G it says +1. What is that?
Yeah, she did. So you do like 3, 5. You do 6 points of damage.
Okay.
So that's so the G is for grievous, and it means that your base damage for the weapon improves, basically.
Yeah, it's I imagine it's like a barb. It's like a barbed head. Like almost like a harpoon. Like so, you
Mhm.
stab and pull out, it does more damage. But now I got to roll his armor, and it's a weary. He's weary,
Yep.
and the injury is 14. No bonus dice.
Yes.
What does it look like when Mary destroys the Barrow White.
When Myrtle?
Myrtle destroyed Mary. Yes, well, Mary.
Mary.
Yeah, Myrtle destroys the Barrow White. That is crazy.
I see her as he's weary, so he's probably starting to cripple down to her size. So if there's a rock, she would have jumped on the rock and tried to grab her blade and come all the way down because she's envisioning being like sailing on a boat.
Yeah.
You know how you can take your knife and come down
Jumps
the
on the
sail?
treasure chest, probably. Ironically, there's no rock, but there's a big treasure chest. She jumps on the treasure chest and then just like stabs down into the neck shoulder joint, which has no armor.
With her
And
little hairy feet wiggling in the air.
yeah,
And
and
she
just
on her way
destroys.
down she'll say, "This is for you, Bernie. Rooney."
All right. Dang. All right.
And I think that completes her song.
Crumples to the ground. The sword stays intact, but the armor, everything else. Yeah.
Real quick before Myrtle can grab it, Gwennon wants to grab the sword because she doesn't want Myrtle to take that.
Yeah. Yeah. As you look around here, it's this crates and barrels and supplies now spoiled. Um, there's a small store of adventuring gear like bows and arrows, knives, maps, a couple coats of leather armor, um, like a elven, like it's got like stitching and stuff that reminiscent of like a elven patterns.
Mhm.
And then there's a chest, an oak chest decorated in silver. And as you open that chest, there's a large ruby cut in an unusual seven-faceted shape.
The heart.
Yes. And without a roll, Bruni, you recognize that as a pattern of a jewelsmith from that you've read about because you've never ever seen this from ancient Beleriand.
Mhm.
I hope that's how you pronounce it, Beleriand.
I don't. Probably close enough.
Yeah. Well,
Valerian,
one of
maybe.
our watchers will correct us if we mispronounced it.
Please
Yep.
do.
All right. Wow, that's pretty amazing. Okay.
Myrtle would ask Brindle, "Ooh, look at the pretty ruby. Do you think that Gwennon will let me keep it?"
Well, it is the heart of Tyndalen.
She doesn't know that.
Yeah.
She's just a hobbit.
Yeah. I mean, I think the elves would want to take it back.
Yes, I think that's what Gwennon would tell him, but that Myrtle was not talking to Gwennon.
All right. So I think with the Barrow White defeated, this place is going to recover, and I think you can use it as a place to rest during a fellowship phase as you help Hernan become become uncorrupt,
The uncorrupted now. Water spirit, right?
not so corrupt. Change his name there. There we go. Hernan the not so corrupt.
Well, his name doesn't show up on the screen.
All right, so I think we're gonna pause here and then come back and do a quick fellowship phase before we close out this session.
All right, we will be back in the blink of an eye. Paused.
All right, so we are back. We are back. I'll repeat that just in case I got cut off. And you know what? So I mean, you've kind of cured Tyndalen in a way, and are trying to bring Harunan from corruption to become not so corrupt. So I think this is a good place to do our fellowship phase. And the fellowship phase.
Well, Myrtle would come back from the battle and begrudgingly give the bracelet back to Harunan. Even though she would like to keep it, she knows Gwennon won't let her.
Well, Harunan, he says, I have so many treasures in my that I've collected. Right, you went Gwennon and Oradreth recall that. What are a couple of baubles for people who have brought me back? You've brought me back.
Myrtle's eyes get really big.
Right. So he lets Myrtle keep that. So it's up to Gwennon and Myrtle what they decide to do with it. The other elves, I think Randor might stay, but the other elves are probably going to um, collect that heart and head towards Linden. Um, but maybe after a little bit of fellowship phase. But that's what they're going to do, unless you convince them otherwise to help you with your thing, because it's on the way. But so they'll stay here, recover, um, like you guys are doing, but they recover like NPCs and not like
Hmm.
Well,
Oh,
Gwennon, I think, would look at Aranwi and say, I came to your aid. Will you not show the same kindness to my group? As
ooh.
I promised Soran that I would get him back and he could show us the way.
Oh, so yeah, Sornon, yeah. That is a good question. I'm gonna look at.
Does she have to roll something?
I don't know. You did do them a favor, so I think they will. They said yes. Well, yes, we will accompany you on your quest. It is, after all, on the way. But first, we must rest and clean up and heal.
I think
Um,
Gwennon would say, if you are concerned that the heart will be taken in battle, I am sure our friend here, Harunan, will guard it for you till we return.
well, there's no point in doubling back. We will just continue on. I trust us and you, companions. Um, we will be fine. Okay, well, let's do the fellowship phase. I'll go through the steps, and then we can. If there's other role playing that could come up, that's during the course. That's fine. So I think it will set the duration. Well, basically, it'll just be a real break from active adventure. It's at least a week, but it could be an entire season. So at least it's going to be a week, right? Unless it's during the Yule phase, which then it'll be during the midwinter festivities. So then we choose a destination. So here you're going to spend it in Tyndalen and cleaning up and healing. And now it's going to be a place where you can use as a point, like a rest point. Now I think it'll be a rest point for you, as long as it's
Hmm.
tended to, not just um, by Harunan, but like I said, maybe Randor will stay and take up the task that Thalion left. Right.
Well,
So
Hmm.
Sornan, can he speak to the group and say that he'll give us a map to where we need to go, that it's dangerous for him, but he would like to stay and join Brandor here.
you think so?
I think he would. First of all,
Yeah.
I think he'd be terrified to go back without the others, you know.
Terrified to go back to where his.
To his group,
Okay.
because he'd be seen as corrupt.
No,
And
no, he'd be seen as a traitor. Maybe not corrupt. He's already probably corrupt, but
but he's seen the error of his ways, and he'd like to stay with the water spirit and Randor. I think that's what he would do. He could give us very distinct instructions and guide us as best as he can.
what do you think, Arlen? Would Bruni and Oradreth agree?
Uh, I don't know. I guess seems like we could. Seems like it would to me. It would make more sense for us to take Sornin with us to the camp and all that sort of stuff, and then just bring him back instead of dropping him off here.
Okay.
Right.
Well,
But I don't know.
he would ask Randor if he could return then.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so then you guys will get some 3 adventure points and 3 skill points. So that's brings you up to like 9, I think, right?
3
In both.
feature and 3 skill points.
Yes. So you can train. So you can spend skill points to develop your skill ratings, um, or increase your valor or wisdom rank. I think you have enough to do. Yeah. To increase a skill by right. So I should put that information down because I did make those handouts, sort of. Right. So here's. I'll just put them on here. Oops.
Excuse me.
So here's like the fellowship phase and what we do.
I
This way.
can't see it down there at the bottom.
Okay.
I'll move the screen up. Okay.
But I'll put it here. I want to put it here so I don't put it in front of like the other stuffs and the characters. So that's the fellowship phase. It's kind of what we do. And then, like, if you wanted to train,
Well, I think Myrtle would like to train.
yeah.
Her
So
problem is
here's the
training
cost.
in
Yeah.
what, you know?
Yeah. Here's the cost. I'll move this over here. Here's the cost, though, right? So it is expensive, relatively.
Mhm.
So you guys have like 9 points. You could train a skill from 1 to 2 with those points, or save them. You could save them for the future, right? Another one more turn you can go to.
What do you mean by skills? Is that like the athletics, all that kind of stuff?
Yes. Yep. And then I think it's a little more. No, I think that is it for the combat skills. It's the same, right? You could.
I think it's that combat takes the adventure points that you use for valor or wisdom,
Oh wow. Okay.
basically. So it's
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Right. So then, if you want, so valor and wisdom, if you increase a rank, it can give you stuff. And we don't have to do that necessarily now. Let's do the other stuff because that probably takes a little thought and looking through the book and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But that's kind of what you do. You need 8 points to either go up from rank 1 to 2 in a skill, or 8 points to increase your valor or wisdom or combat skill. Right. The adventure points. So you have 2 pools of XP to use, one for skills and one for valor, wisdom, and combat. Okay. So then the other thing we would do performing updates is it's called training is for skills. Oh, actually, wait. And then growth is for wisdom, valor, or combat proficiencies. You are correct. So that's what we explained. All right, so you can acquire 1 rank of each combat proficiency. You can also buy a rank in wisdom or valor, but not in both. All right, and then spiritual recovery. So you will recover a number of hope points equal to your heart score. So, and then for the Dunedain, it's half. Yeah.
So she would get 3 back, which takes her to 11, which is what her total hope is, anyways. So she's full now, and so is Myrtle.
Yeah, and I think your deeds can be considered to have actively hindered or damaged the enemy. You destroyed a Barrow White, and you are bringing Huronon back from corruption. So you can remove 2 shadow points.
Well, Myrtle has none. And Gwennon had 1, so she'll go to 0. Okay.
How does that work for the elves? I don't know if that.
Oradreth, I don't think gets to remove any for this time because that's one of for the high elves, the elves of Rivendell, they have beset by woe that they can normally only recover from shadow at the Yule time.
Okay.
So he's still at 2 shadow, I think.
Okay.
And I can double check in between to make sure.
All right. And then finally, we can choose undertakings, and those are time-consuming endeavors that you accomplish exclusively during a lengthy stop like the fellowship phase. And the undertakings, I will this is the rules for undertakings. That's the last step. Is during an ordinary fellowship phase, you can, as a group, choose one single undertaking, and then as a group, you can choose an additional undertaking from among those that are free based on your what's it called? Your calling, right?
Hmm.
So, and the undertakings are gathering rumors, meet your patron, ponder storied and figured maps. You found some maps in that barrow too. Um, strengthen your fellowship, study magical items, write a song.
Well, we know Myrtle's writing a song.
So like you guys have to choose what the songs are kind of cool. You can have a lay of counsels, a song of victory, or a walking song for journey. And
Hmm.
even if you don't use it in the next adventuring phase, it doesn't go away.
Oh,
And a song, I think, lore keeper. You could get a free one from a lore keeper, I believe. That's their free one.
Hmm.
Or that could be the party's one, and then choose another one.
Well, we could do, seems like we could do song and maps to
Okay.
try to find out information about this dwarven fortress that we're talking about going towards
mm-hmm.
and the stuff around. So that makes sense to me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think you compose. Oh, those are the endeavors we're going to undertaking. So, um, yep. So the player, Myrtle, is encouraged to come up with a song title and lyrics.
Oh,
And
goodness.
if you have a champion, it's a champion. Song is a champion. So you do have a champion, right? Or Dreth is a champion. Is
I
that
think
correct?
so. Yeah, or a dress.
Yeah. So you can do that one. And then the storied maps that is a free one for a scholar. Do you have a scholar?
Yeah, Bruni is a scholar.
Okay, so you could take either one as a free one and other one as a general one. So that's great. Okay,
Nice,
so I
nice.
think so. You just ponder storied and figured maps until your next fellowship phase. You get a +1 to determine the nature of it. Oh, that's good. Determine the nature of events during the event resolution step of a journey. That's good. So you get a +1 to all feat die rolls.
+1 to all
Defeat.
feet.
Yeah.
And Myrtle has already named her song the Song of the Champions of Light.
Okay.
Or the Song of the Champions of Light.
Mm-hmm. And so it's going to be, she's going to have a combat song.
Yes.
Okay.
As long as that's okay with everybody. Now I have to write all the verses too?
Well, if you want to. And what do these songs do?
Well, I would hope that it gives them a +1, like she's
Yeah.
been doing. Like
Yeah,
she
and
was.
combat to lift their spirit to renew a lust for battle. I think their song. Okay.
So does
Uh,
that?
Well, that's great. So you make a song roll and you can succeed in the roll. You ignore the effects of being weary. Right. So if you guys are weary during a combat, so people start losing their endurance or become weary, you can bolster them with a song of victory, and
Hmm.
gets rid of the weary with a song roll during the duration of the combat. That's pretty good. So you saw
Nice.
how weary affected that barrel, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and none of you guys got hit. That was amazing. Okay, well, great. So, any idea what you want to spend your trainings on or your growth? If not, then we can call it here, and we can make sure we take care of that before we start the next time.
Well, Myrtle thinks that having more than just one valor is a good idea, but she would also like to get her strength up, but she has to think about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see if you get a valor, what does that? Let me see what that does for you.
Valor gets you more rewards,
Yes.
so you can upgrade one of your pieces of gear or get a new upgraded piece of gear, basically. the rewards are all gear stuff basically, and then the virtues are for wisdom, and that's all. It's kind of like feats.
Yeah, so you could get a keen. So like the rewards. So you have a fell weapon already. So you could get a close fitting armor, a cunning armor, a fell weapon, or a keen weapon, or a reinforced shield. Um, for wisdom,
She has no armor right now, so.
if
But we can.
you add to wisdom, I'll just let you know. It's
Yeah.
pretty quick. So if you add to wisdom, you can get the art of disappearing. Um, that is, if a location or situation offers even the smallest opportunity to hide and seek, you can make a stealth roll, and basically, if you get a success icon, which is a 6, you can just disappear. Brave at a pinch, as long as you are miserable, weary, or wounded, you are inspired on all your rolls. Wow, you get 2 dice on all your rolls. Brave in a pinch, and then small folk. When you are engaged in close combat with a creature bigger than you, which is very often, you can add +2 to your parry rating. Oh, and additionally, this is actually interesting. Additionally, you can assume a rearward stance even if there's only one other company fighting in close combat. Small folk might be good for you.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's probably good, but.
So you can spend 8 of your adventure points and get increase your wisdom, right?
Okay, so
Wisdom rank?
her adventure
Yeah.
point goes down to 1, and then her wisdom goes to 2 instead of 1.
Yes. And then you get small folk.
Okay, where does that go? I'll just type it on here. Small folk.
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat. For the little people are smaller than even dwarves. I mean, it's gonna be impossible like to hit you. +2 parry. All right. And then Gwennon, you're gonna think about, and then you can think about the skill or whatever you wanted to do.
Yes.
Um,
So what did you call this feat that she's getting, or whatever? It's just
called small folk.
small folk.
Yeah, I put it in the chat.
Right.
Any idea what any of your guys want to do?
I'm probably gonna wait and pick things when I have a chance to look over stuff. I
Okay.
was thinking about there's a couple of like a +1 upgrade to a skill that might be useful.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking about taking Bruni's persuade from 1 to 2 since he did a good
Mhm.
job persuading on this adventure.
Yeah.
That seems like a good thing. Yeah, why don't I do that? All right, so I'll do
That's your
that's
skill.
8 skill points for that one. Um, and then I will probably have to decide about the other stuff
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, you can open a skill too for 4. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
something you don't have, Amy, that you're like, oh man, I wish I had that. Then you can open that for 4
Um.
as well.
Well, I mean, I have to look because.
Yeah, you have to. If you're from Bree, you could get a Bree pony. Um,
She's not from Bree.
oh,
I mean,
geez.
I don't know if it would even make sense for her to add song to it or in Hearten. That's the thing. She's true hearted, so would it make sense to add in Hearten? I have to look at it.
Yeah, you have to look. Man, Rangers for the virtues.
Yeah, the Rangers, a lot of the different virtues have some really, the different heroic cultures have some really cool, like flavorful
Yeah.
virtues, right? Like the Rangers have the one that they
You
don't,
know fatigue during a journey.
yeah, they don't take fatigue if they're lightly encumbered, basically, anymore, which is crazy. But then there's some other, I can't remember all the different ones. I think I'll have to double check, but I think Oradreth could potentially take. There's one that's basically like when an enemy spends a shadow, you just spend a hope to cancel it because you're like an elf and can counter spell.
Oh dang.
And it's like, so that would be fun with if we end up keeping fighting Barrow Whites if they have to
Yeah.
um, spend their hate to bring back up their health, right? So
I think Amy, you already have a keen weapon, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Okay.
but yeah, there's some cool. You can also
There's some.
and you,
Yeah.
and you can
I'll have to
stack
look
the
at it.
reward bonuses onto the same item also. So like if you have a keen sword, you can also add one of the others, Grievous or Fell.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah. Cool.
Well, I mean, I'd like to see if there's anything that raises her hope.
I don't think so.
I think there is one of the virtues. I think that's a just a generic virtue.
Oh
That
yeah, yeah. The confidence. Confidence.
yeah, it's like +2 hope. I think.
Yeah. So you could do that with your using your. Yeah, you could do that with adventure points.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, there's some really cool bonuses that you can find.
Well, we'll see. I'll look through the book. So,
Yeah. Okay.
but
Well, thank you guys so much. That was really fun.
thank you for running.
Got to a fellowship phase,
Yeah, yeah.
and we will continue our journey next time on to, I guess, the other place. All right. Anything else?
No, just good night and
Well, I was going to say, if you like what you see, like and don't forget to like and subscribe. And also, if you have friends, tell them, and they can like and subscribe and take them on to or tune them in to this channel and this content. I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to comment when this comes out. And now we can say the thing.
good night.
Good rolling.